Hello everyone and welcome to the third edition here of First and 10, our weekly NFL show. And if you can tell, I'm a little distraught. It's been a rough week for me in the NFL. You know, I love the NFL, but the NFL, it didn't love me. It was like spicy food with me. It just didn't love me. A rough week for me in terms of pick'ems, proving to the fact once again, you think you can know the game, but that's why they play the games. Really, last night was a more exciting game than what a lot of people had thought it would have been after how halftime was for the Broncos and Falcons. But yeah. Peyton Manning did make that game interesting, I have to say, as he normally does. I was on the verge of he's going to have that comeback he did when he was with Indy against the Buccaneers when they were down by like a zillion points. And they
showed
won.
That a few times.
Yeah, for sure. And they also showed the stat that Peyton's 11-3 on Monday Night Football. I'm like, he'll make it 12. He'll make it 12. And then he didn't. But yeah, I mean, a weird week in the NFL, if you don't mind me saying. Arizona Cardinals, 2-0. Philadelphia Eagles, they're 2-0. Miami Dolphins win a game. What is going on?
Saints are 0-2. It's topsy-turvy.
Hamilton Tigers and the CFL won a game by a lot, so I was happy about that. But yeah, I mean, just a crazy week in the NFL. Really, to you, what is the biggest story going after now that week 2 is all said and done?
Yeah, I gotta go with Philly. Philadelphia Eagles being 2-0. That is, I would have never guessed it. I mean, I would have guessed they'd be 1-1 at the beginning of the season, but then after week 1, when they barely beat the Browns, I mean, I thought that team's just gonna be terrible, and then now they come out this week, and mind you, they were at home in Philadelphia. They beat Baltimore, a team that just dazzled me in week 1. Now, mind you, it's not like it was a big blowout or anything. It was a close game, but Philly threw 4 or 5 turnovers in that game. Like, they have 9 on the season now, and they're 2-0. That is amazing. It kind of scares me, because if you can have 9 turnovers and be 2-0, imagine what'll happen if they stop turning the ball over.
That's what a lot of people are saying. I mean, if they can fix this turnover issue, which is something I think they have to and probably will fix, they're going to be a scary football team, because if Mike Vick's doing that, I mean, he's still got the heart and the determination to go out there and get victories now. Coming back and beating Cleveland, I mean, they really should do that. But, you know, on a game-winning drive against the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, that's super, super impressive. Yeah, I mean, there's that story. To me, I think the biggest story is that the Arizona Cardinals totally outplayed the New England Patriots. I think the entire world had the Patriots. It was at Foxborough, too. The Patriots are going to be out there. It's going to be, you're going to see on your ticker of other games you're watching, New England 7, New England 14, New England 21, New England 28, and then it's like over by halftime. But the Arizona Cardinals absolutely outplayed the Patriots in every aspect of the ball. Kevin Kolb, like, I'm actually stunned about Kevin Kolb. Like, Kevin Kolb, after a disastrous first year with the Cardinals, and then watching him in the Hall of Fame game against the Saints in his first pass getting picked off in that something, you know, the rookies wouldn't even do, he's turned it on. And like, Kevin Kolb's now got his really third chance at life in the NFL, and he's proving to be super, super reliable for the Cardinals. And if he's reliable, that you have to remember, that team has one of the best receivers in the NFL, Larry Fitzgerald.
Fitzy.
So they can be scary, and they're better than I think we all thought they were. So yeah, Arizona is, to me, the biggest story, but I think a story that we both agree on before we move on to week 3, these replacement refs. What the H? I mean, just awful. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. It's like they've never watched football. I mean, they had to pull the one ref from the Saints game because he was, you know, a Saints fan. He's got his Facebook pics of him in his Saints gear looking all sweet and stuff, but good thing they caught that. But I mean, some of these calls, like in the Ravens-Eagles game, that Jacoby Jones offensive pass interference penalty, not at all. To me, I think, where was the flag on Stephen Gostkowski getting run into after he missed that field goal? Because he got bumped, pretty hard there. And, you know, just they letting games get out of control, like the end of the Giants-Buccaneers game. It looked like it was going to get chippy for a while in the Redskins-Rams. What's going on? I mean, the NFL has to get it together and get the real boys back in there.
I agree with you. And you know why I'm mostly worried? It's not even with those in-play calls and penalties, because, you know, everything happens so fast. You can kind of forgive them for that. I mean, I don't really want to anymore, but you can. It's when they don't spot the ball correctly, you know, in between the plays, when there's a penalty, when they're not under that much pressure to make those split-second decisions, they still make the wrong ones. That is what frustrates me the most. Because, I mean, really, with the regular refs, that's easy. They do it. We never, ever talk about that kind of stuff with the regular refs. And I mean, if I'm the refs union or whatever, if I'm a ref sitting at home, a regular NFL ref, I'm loving this. Because the NFL is going to have to crack. You can tell after week 1, people were a little frustrated. Now people are getting even more frustrated and impatient. Coaches are starting to speak out more. You saw Flacco speak out publicly. It's gonna get out of hand. They talked about it yesterday on Monday Night Football, how the players are starting to feel out these replacement refs and find out exactly what they can do and get away with. And it's getting out of control.
Yeah, that's definitely the thing, because if it gets out of control on the field, it can get out of control in the stands, and you just have total anarchy. And that's something you don't want, especially at a good, friendly environment of NFL football game, which is a fun place to go and a thing to see. As we just said, it did get out of control at the end of the Giants-Buccaneers game, which is kind of where I'm leading to here. I mean, the Giants are no longer going to have to worry about potential cheap shots. They're going to have to worry about the Carolina Panthers and their exciting offense. I was really impressed with what Carolina was able to do to the Saints. Now, I mean, you can really tell that New Orleans was really missing the impact of Sean Payton, and this defense has been just chipped apart because of the bounty gate. But Carolina was able to really play good football. Their defense was able to pick Drew Brees off in like a simple play. You never really think Drew Brees would make a mistake like that, folks. But yeah, I was impressed with the Panthers. Continue to be impressed by them. They fell to the Bucs in week 1, but your Giants had to rally. They like the Panthers had to crawl and scratch their way back for a victory over those Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then Tom Coughlin was almost able to claw and scratch at the Buccaneers coach after what happened at the end there. I'm sure they'll be making a new flick on Tom Coughlin's life called When Old People Yell. But you know, I'm excited for this game on Thursday. It's not as maybe marquee as last week's Bears-Packers game. But this one will be actually a good game because the Giants had trouble with an NFC South team, and Carolina's looking to take the table there in the NFC South and really compete with Atlanta now. So what are you thinking about this game? Are you worried about Cam and the Carolina Panther young explosive offense?
I am very worried. Giants fan. I love the Giants, but I'm picking Carolina to win this one.
Really? This actually surprised me. This is like breaking news. Holy crap. You're taking the Panthers at home over your beloved New York Football Giants.
You know, Giants are struggling. They didn't look that good against Dallas. They went into Tampa Bay, or
Tampa went to there.
Tampa Bay came into New York. They struggled, and Eli threw 3 interceptions. Now, I mean, amazing that they can come back and still win against the Bucs, but they also lost Bradshaw, who is huge for their offense, and it's not like they really have like a key backup like Jacobs or Ware, who they've had in the past. Now they don't have a running game. They're gonna have to rely a lot on Eli, and I think Panthers just look so good. They beat the Saints, who I guess haven't really proven themselves yet this year, but the Saints are still a good team. And I just think Panthers having home field advantage, being against the banged up Giants who are struggling. I think Giants are going to be 1-2, and Panthers are going to be 2-1.
This is a tough one for me, just because I'm not sure. I mean, after last week, I really have no confidence going into picking any game. I don't know, because the Giants did struggle against the Buccaneers, but hey, they were able to come back against Tampa Bay, and Tampa Bay beat Carolina week 1.
Yeah.
And I still have zero faith in the Panther defense. However, I just love that offense in Carolina. I really do love that offense. You know, you got LaFay and Steve Smith as wide receivers, which is just great for Cam. Cam, of course, can, you know, throw to those guys and run it his own way. And he's got D'Angelo Williams in the backfield. So just a scary offense right up there. But I don't know. I may now have to go opposite with you. I'm not just because of that, but I don't know. I mean, I like the Panthers, but the Giants still have a solid core with Eli and Tom, and, you know, I think, you know, the Tampa Bay defense isn't getting the respect it really deserves, and when they picking off Eli 3 times. I'm going to take the Giants on the road. I think the Panthers are still still a work in progress, while the Giants, they may not have Bradshaw, but I think Eli has enough to get it done in his own way. I think Victor Cruz stepped up from his poor performance week 1 against Dallas. And there's going to be someone that has to step up on the Giants, so I'll take New York. And, man, that was a tough one. That's a tough one. I think this will be a very close game and a real exciting game for Thursday Night Football.
I hope you're right.
You hope I'm right. I hope you're wrong, but that's weird that I hope the Giants fans wrong that the Giants win. That actually taking me for a loop right here. I'm rattled, actually. I'm not even going to lie. But, I mean, moving on to week 3, you know, there's a lot of exciting matchups here. I guess the first one we should really take a look at here is I guess the first game on the docket, the Dallas Cowboys and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa, of course, at the top of the schedule for the second week in a row. The Bucs looked really good against your Giants. Cowboys, not so much against the Seattle Seahawks. One of our friends who was a Cowboy fan sent me a text when I was telling them that, hey, wasn't looking that good against the Seahawks. He said, we got this. And, well, no, they did not got this. They looked awful out there, actually. The Seahawks were able to get good pressure on Tony. Basically, have to make Tony make rash decisions and not audible, but, like, change his mind at the last second, and Ogletree, Dez, and Miles couldn't adjust to that, and they did a good job shutting down the run game. And it really doesn't help when, you know, you fumble your opening kickoff. That doesn't help anything. So I guess I should say, are you super impressed enough by how Tampa played against your Giants to take them over Dallas, who beat your Giants, or do you think Dallas rebounds in their first home game of the season?
I'm going to have to go with Tampa Bay. Yeah, Dallas looked just terrible last week. I mean, they played really well against the Giants. I think there was a lot of emotion there and stuff. Yeah. I mean, if last week was any show of what they're going to do in the rest of the season, at this point, I guess Philly's got the division. I mean, as for the Buccaneers, they've played 2 good weeks, 2 tough weeks. I like the new head coach they have. And I mean, that division has just gone all topsy-turvy, eh? Well, just like the whole NFL, really. But
the NFC South, to me, has always been the toughest and most exciting division. But this year, it seems to be the most wide open because of the whole stuff that's happened with New Orleans in the offseason here. I mean, it's really like Atlanta's time to shine. But, I mean, Tampa and Carolina can make a run for it, if you don't mind me saying. I mean, I think one of those teams will be a wild card team in the NFC this year. May lean a little bit with Carolina, but I mean, you can't count Tampa Bay out because they may have had the best offseason pickups of any team in the NFL. So, you know, I like what Tampa's doing. Do I take them? I mean, Dallas at home is tough, but
yeah, that's the question there. Is if Tampa can go into Dallas in that stadium and beat them there, I think they can.
You know what? I'm gonna lean with Tampa. You got to have an upset every week, and I think Tampa is going to do enough to get the job done against Dallas. I mean, if the Seahawks, who, let's be real, the Seahawks have a strong defense, we're able to get real good pressure on Tony. This defense for Tampa, like I said, is not getting the credit it's deserving. They're going to get pressure out there. If they're able to disrupt Eli for 3 picks, I know they're going to do to Tony. So I like Tampa in this game. I'll take the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are quickly winning me back over as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer fan. Before you know it, they could have a defense as good as they did back in the late 90s, early 2000s, which was scary. To me, another game I do want to look at, I mean, I don't want to look at too many of the games, but the Bears-Rams has now become, to me, a very interesting game. If you're a Chicago fan, it becomes interesting for two reasons. One, you have to rebound after that loss to your biggest rival, the Packers. And two, Cutler's got to come back after getting criticized by his teammates for yelling. Like, yelling?
Yeah.
Like, are you 7? But anyways, I mean, apparently Cutler's attitude may have got to some of the teammates too much. I mean, you could tell he was frustrated in the Packers game. But to me, I wouldn't be too worried. I don't know why they're calling him out. I mean, you can tell he just has the fighting spirit. He wanted to go out there and win, and things were going his way. So he's going to throw a temper tantrum. I mean, it happens from time to time. Just realize it's nothing personal. It's just in the moment. But some of these Bears players did. But their opponents, like I said, are the St. Louis Rams, who may have had the funnest game of the week against the Washington Redskins. I was loving that game. I mean, the Rams were down 21-6, and they rallied back and won. Sam Bradford is looking unreal out there. Sam Bradford is proving, that he is the franchise quarterback that we really knew he was. I mean, unfortunately, last year he was hurt.
Yeah.
This run game for St. Louis is really good. I mean, Steven Jackson wasn't in the game. He was hurt, but their backup, I don't remember the gentleman's name. He was just lightning quick, making people miss. Danny Amendola was coming through in the clutch, and the Rams defense was coming through in the clutch when they needed to stop RG3 and those Redskins. Also, it didn't help when the Redskins had a chance for a 47-yard field goal, but the Cortland Finnegan was able to piss off the Redskins receiver who lost his mind and whipped the football out of him, and in replacement ref or not, you're going to throw a flag on that anytime.
Yeah,
and
that was stupid.
It was stupid. I lost it at the dinner table for that one. I'm not going to lie. And making Billy Cundiff, who has trouble with 30-yard field goals, have to kick a 63-yard field goal, causing the Redskins to lose. So, do you think Cutler's going to have to do a good job retaliating from the criticism? Because before I let you go, I'm leaning the Bears just because it's at Soldier here. I think Cutler's going to take the criticism, and I think the Bears do a good job at Soldier. Yeah,
no, I agree. You know what all amazing teams need to do is go through a little bit of adversity throughout the season. The Bears last week, they lost. It wasn't as close as a lot of people thought it was going to be, but that's still a good Green Bay team who had to come out with something to prove in week 2 after losing to San Francisco. So I don't fault them that much, the Bears that much on that loss. Also, I have nothing wrong with what Cutler did. I mean, that's what a leader does is they're very outspoken and they want to get their team riled up and ready to go. He's just a very passionate player, which I think is awesome. As for the Rams, Bradford, love Bradford. I've loved him since he played for the Sooners. I didn't cheer for him because I was a Texas fan back then, but I mean, always respected him and his abilities. Yeah, it was too bad he got hurt last year. It looks like this year he's got something to prove. And the whole Rams team does. They're all playing really well. But I agree with you. Bears home field advantage. The Rams won't be able to stop them, but it's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I mean, the only issue I guess you have for the Bears is Forte will not play, so there's going to have to be a lot of Cutler to Marshall or to anyone else out there.
Which I don't see an issue with.
I don't see an issue with it, but I mean, Rams D got me like, hey, they were able to help the Rams come back. But yeah, I'll go with the Bears as well. Now, the next game we're going to talk about, I think we're going to talk about for all the awkward reasons. It's a battle between the Chiefs and the Saints, two 0-2 football teams. Someone's O's got to go for the victory here. And it's in the Superdome, but I mean, I don't think the Chiefs have played that bad. They played, I think, a strong game week 1 against those same Chicago Bears we just talked about. Now, last week, I don't know what happened. Let's be real for them. I don't know what happened. They took a licking from my Buffalo Bills. And as much as I'd like to say, I'd like to enjoy that Buffalo got the victory, I honestly thought Kansas City was going to come up to Ralph Wilson Stadium, punch him in the mouth, and give them the receipt that they gave him last year, that Buffalo gave them at Kansas City's Arrowhead Stadium 41-7 victory. And that didn't happen. They looked awful out there for a while. They looked terrible. The Buffalo Bills, which is for me actually a great sign to see CJ running the ball like that was great. But yeah, the Chiefs really need a victory here. The Romeo Crennel Chiefs, I don't know what's happened to them. I had a lot of hope in them. I actually thought they were the best team in the, I believe, AFC West, actually making a real case to battle it out with Peyton's Broncos. But the Saints here. This is really, a lot of people seem to have already jumped off the New Orleans Saint bandwagon, which I don't know if you can do yet. It's only 2 weeks into the season, folks. Let's not lose our cool. It's not week 8 where maybe you want to hit the abort button on that one, but Drew Brees is still out there. I still have faith in Drew Brees. He's the coach. Let's be real. He's the coach. There's no Peyton. He's the coach. I have faith in Drew Brees. It's the defense that needs to step up. I don't know anyone really on this defense anymore because of the whole situation they had. Whose O goes in this one? Do the Saints finally prove people wrong? Or is it Matt Castle and the Kansas City Chiefs with Romeo Crennel-Strong D that gets the job done?
Yeah, Kansas City is going to be 0-3 after this week.
Okay.
I gotta go with the Saints. I know I have the first 2 weeks and
hey, you and me both. Okay, like you and me both.
The first two, okay, we said last week that we were worried about the Panthers team just because of how similar they are to the Redskins. And, I mean, it just seems like maybe that's the Saints' defense's kryptonite. That type of offense with the rushing quarterback. Castle, no. Castle is not a rushing quarterback. He sit back there, throw it. He is known to, I mean, he relies on his running game, basically. So
Jamal Charles.
Yeah.
He's going to have to step up here.
Exactly. So if the Saints can stop that, I don't think Castle's really going to get all that comfortable back there passing the ball. And hopefully the Saints, well, not hopefully, I think the Saints will be able to stop that attack. Also, this is a telling matchup. I think KC is the weakest of the three teams that the Saints are playing in their first 3 weeks. And if the Saints can't beat them, I think there's going to be a lot of people jumping off the bandwagon then. It's just going to say how much Drew Brees is missing Sean Payton, whether they win or lose. We got to see. Their offense has to go out there and prove that they can score, and their defense has to go out there and prove that they can stop people without, getting paid bounty for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think you can really tell how much the Saints are missing Sean Payton, because Sean Payton was to me was the most gutsiest coach in the National Football League. I mean, of course, I don't think you have to go back just to the Super Bowl, their onside kick. So I mean,
every week,
every week they do something gutsy, but he's not there this year, which I think is kind of crap in my opinion, because I don't know. I honestly don't know if he knew anything really about the whole bounty situation. But then again, he's the head coach. He really has to be the watchful eye over everything, every spectrum. So
I don't think it matters. It is what it is.
It is what it is now. So it's gonna have to be. They got a rebound here. I still like them against the Chiefs. The Chiefs haven't really impressed me, and I think the Saints got a super explosive offense. I think you have to remember they have one of maybe the best triple-headed monster in terms of run games in the NFL, and I think Ingram, Sproles, and the other fellow there will be able to run the ball really well. And Brees I think he's going to rebound this week and prove a lot of people wrong. I'm still stunned people are jumping off the bandwagon in the second week of the season, guys. It's second week. But yeah, we both like the Saints in that one. I think third time's going to be the charm for New Orleans here. But now we're moving over to the later games. This next game that we're going to talk about, honestly didn't think we'd talk about. It's the Philadelphia Eagles and the Arizona Cardinals. 2-0 teams duking it out, and I don't even know where to begin, but I can't believe we actually have to talk about this game, because like we already said earlier, the Eagles kind of scratched their way to victories. The Cardinals, in my opinion, really could be 1-1. I believe you have to give them credit for the Seahawks victory. Their D was able to do a goal line stand, even with an extra timeout given for the Seahawks. But really, I'm stunned they won against New England. I'm just stunned that they won, not because of how well they were able to manage the game, but when you're running out the clock and you fumble the football against the Patriots and lose, and the Patriots lose. What? How does that happen?
Well, plus then they allowed a touchdown, got called back.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the field goal kick was wide.
I still think he should have been a new set of downs there. He was... But we already talked about the refs. But yeah, this game now becomes a must-watch game to see which team is not for real and which team is for real. So I'll let you take over here and just... Which team do you think is not for real? Which team do you think is for real?
It's exactly what it's a very interesting matchup. Both teams
are undefeated. I almost get laughed when saying.
Yeah, exactly. And they've beat I would say mediocre to not very good team in the Philly beat the Browns, and then Cardinals beat the Seahawks. And then they both beat a good team, actually two teams who were in conference finals last year, the Patriots and Baltimore Ravens. I think Philly is more explosive and better as a team as a whole. I mean, they're 9 turnovers. Like, that's got to change. They cannot continue. I know I already talked about this, but they can't continue to turn the ball over and expect to win. So I just think that as a team in total, the Philadelphia Eagles are better than the Cardinals. But Cardinals could surprise us again. I mean, it was impressive. They showed a lot of poise against the New England Patriots. I just think the Philly win against Baltimore was a bit more impressive.
I'm going to go opposite here. I'm going to take those Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, all right.
Only because it is at Arizona, and I think Arizona is one of the toughest places to play. The Cardinals just rally off the fans at University of Phoenix Stadium. I mean, I think the Cardinals have a really strong special team. Their defense played really well against the Patriots. Now and I mean, this is Tom Brady we're talking, folks. I mean,
wow, yeah.
And so they're able to shut down Gronk. Now Hernandez did leave the game for the Patriots, which I think is a big thing because they love the 2 tight end system there. But I think I'm starting to believe in Kevin Kolb, and I never thought that those words would come out of my mouth, that I believe in Kevin Kolb. Kevin Kolb is turning into the quarterback that the Eagles, interesting enough, thought he was. So there's that motivation right there for Kevin Kolb and the Cardinals to be like, this team decided to go with Mike Vick over me. I'm going to shove it up where the sun don't shine on them. I'm going to take Arizona to make them the 3-0 Arizona Cardinals and really make it an interesting division with the 49ers there.
That sounds weird.
Hey, you have to remember, it's not been that long since they played in a Super Bowl. So, like,
a lot of people.
They did lose a lot of people, but they still have the best receiver that they had on that team in Larry Fitzgerald. So, yeah. I'm going to lean with the Arizona Cardinals. And, you know, the other late game that I think is a real interesting one is a team we haven't had the chance to talk about too much, but that's because they didn't have the sexiest matchups. It'll be the Denver Broncos hosting the Houston Texans, and this is a real big game for the Texans. Now the Texans, hey, they were able to flow right over those teams from Florida. They were able to dominate the Miami Dolphins and the Jacksonville Jaguars, really what they should do, and they did what they had to do there. But now it's a real test, because Denver, they may have not showed up in the first half, but I think the second half team, they're turning out to really be a second half team as Denver, in my opinion. But Houston here is a team a lot of people are picking to go to the Super Bowl. This is their first test on that road to New Orleans. Will Houston continue this impressive trend, or will people believe the hype, or will Peyton Manning, have a way better performance in the first half, and Denver get their second win at home and their second win of the season?
It's a tough one. That is an amazing matchup. And yeah, the only reason we haven't talked about the Houston Texans yet is because their first 2 matchups were just easy. I mean, if they had lost that, I don't even know. They are an explosive offense. If they stay healthy, they are dangerous. They have Arian Foster. They have
Matt Schaub,
Andre Johnson. Yeah, I don't know why I couldn't remember them. Anyway, and then even that, they have Ben Tate backing them up, who has also been producing each week. We're going to see. Yeah, this is the test for them. It's in Mile High, which kind of throws a wrench in it, but I still think Texans are the real deal. They're going to beat the Denver Broncos, which I think will be even tougher because Peyton Manning, I doubt, loses 2 in a row very often. I'm not saying Denver isn't a good team. Denver is an amazing team. They lost to a very good Atlanta Falcons team last night. But at the same time, I think you can find a lot of parallels between Atlanta and the Texans. And so I think Houston will have their number. They've seen kind of a blueprint now of how to beat Denver. And I don't think Peyton will throw 3 picks again. It's going to be close, but Houston will come out.
See, I'm happy you said that there's the parallel between the Falcons and the Texans, because when I saw that this week that Denver has to play Houston, it's really kind of the same matchup as last week, or for yesterday, I should say, or from Monday against the Falcons, because Atlanta is kind of the same way. They got a quarterback with a good arm, and he's got, maybe not as many weapons as Atlanta does, because Atlanta has scary offensive weapons with Gonzalez and Julio and Roddy White. I mean, he's got Andre Johnson, but I mean, their basis bread and butter is the run game, and Denver's able to do a good job shutting that down. Now, I think Houston's run game is way better than Atlanta's.
Yeah,
but I think
true.
the thing for Denver is to, I think the Houston defense is better than what Atlanta was able to get on Peyton Manning. I think they have a good their linebacking core is going to get maybe a lot more pressure than the Falcons were able to. So I'm going to lean with the Texans in this one. I really like Houston this year. I think they do a better job running the ball. I think they do a better job getting the pressure on Peyton. I mean, you can't knock, the talents of Brian Cushing and his company out there. Brian Cushing's an animal. I think he's gonna be able to get some good pressure on there. And these Texans are gonna prove that they are for real. And I think it'd be awesome if they made it to the Super Bowl. Personally, just because they were an expansion team, and now it's finally their time. And Schaub's proving to be a great quarterback that he was, and who knows how far Houston would have gone had he and Matt Leinart not gone down, and they had to go with T.J. Yates last year. So there's that, and Atlanta in their own right has a tough game against San Diego, who are 2-0, and they looked impressive last week against Tennessee, but Tennessee's on the decline. So quickly, I think we both would take Atlanta in that one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Definitely.
and then of course the Sunday nighter is an interesting matchup in its own right. It's a rematch of the AFC Championship game. The New England Patriots go into Baltimore to take on the Ravens, who both teams got to bounce back.
Yeah, it's true. And both losing in games I think they both could have won. Exactly. So Baltimore, I think, I'm just going to say it. It's going to come down to a field goal, and this time Baltimore is going to actually make the field goal. And I mean, it's not going to be to go to the Super Bowl, but it is going to be very symbolic to show that they are a better team than last year. I think Patriots, they do have that injury to Hernandez. Also, for some reason, they're running the ball a lot last week, which kind of got out of their game plan. It's going to be interesting to see if they try to continue that, but I think you're kind of crazy to try and run the ball against the Ravens. And it's in Baltimore, I believe,
yes.
Correct? Yeah. So it's tough to go into Baltimore and win there. I think Baltimore's team of destiny this year. Their offense is explosive. All sides of the ball, I think they're better than the Patriots. I think their pass and run defense better than the Patriots. I think their running offense with Rice, definitely better than the Patriots, and I think you have to at least admit that their passing offense is at least in line with the Patriots. Maybe you'll disagree with that, but I believe in Flacco and all of his weapons now. New England's going to go into Baltimore, and they're going to lose.
Yeah, I'm going to lead with Baltimore too. I like Baltimore as well, and I still believe they really didn't lose that game to the Eagles because of that retarded offensive pass interference penalty. Anyways, but yeah, I really like Baltimore. The Patriots, I don't know, that last week they just seemed like they lost the Patriot edge we're so used to, with Belichick always being risky and gambling, because Bill Belichick of old would have gone for it in that situation instead of trying to settle for the field goal, because obviously it came back and bit them in the ass there. But I like Baltimore. I still, like I said, I believe they should still be 2-0. I think their run game's going to cause real trouble for New England. I think Baltimore really, really has improved at the offensive passing game with not only having Bolden out there, but Jacoby Jones I think we're just waiting for him to really break out, because Baltimore did something that a lot of people in the video game world do. It's like, hey, I can't stop this guy, I'll just get him. So that's what they did with Jacoby from the Houston Texans, and I think he's going to be a real benefactor there. I agree with you. I do think it does come down to a field goal. It'll be interesting to see which team makes it come down to the field goal. If it's down to the Patriots, it's a lot of pressure on Gostkowski right there, because, he messed up last week. Like I said earlier, I don't know, I think there should have been a penalty there, but he's got to rebound then if it comes down to him. But for the Ravens, I think they have a lot more faith in their kicker, and I think he would be able to nail it there. But yeah, I think we both like Baltimore. And then this, of course, takes us to next Monday, which will be a much more interesting matchup to me than I think a lot of people going into the season thought, as Green Bay goes to the upper Northwest and taking on the Russell Wilson Seattle Seahawks, who, like we said at the start of the show, really looked fantastic against the Dallas Cowboys. So it's in Seattle, which is a big benefactor. Green Bay always has trouble, with certain offensive players, and the Seahawks have one of them, and his name's Marshawn Lynch. Now, it depends. Is Marshawn Lynch going to run like Marshawn Lynch of old, or is he going to run drunk? I don't know, but I think if you give him some Skittles, he's going to be able to run the ball really well against the Packers, and that's one thing that does worry me. Wilson, however, I think is, he didn't have as high-profile drafting as RG3 or Andrew Luck, but I think he's the smartest of the rookie quarterbacks out there. He makes perfect decisions with the football. Every time he makes a pass, I'm not worried he's trying to force it in there. Michael Vick is now a veteran in the NFL, and he's trying to force balls in there, which of course leads to your 9 turnovers in general. But yeah, I really do like the Seahawks. Their defense, like we've been saying, is a much better defense than I think a lot of people give them credit for. Wilson, Lynch, a good receiving core. The Packers, great offense. Okay defense that did step up last week. I have to say they improved from what they had to do. Does Green Bay go out on the road into a real tough place in Seattle and get the victory?
They do.
Okay.
Yep, they're going to win. But it's going to be a question of their defense.
Yeah, it always
exactly what you're talking about. They need to stop the run against Lynch, because Lynch is a power. I mean, we've seen it the first 2 weeks, saw it a bit last year. He is a powerful runner. I'm sorry you couldn't get it done with your Bills, but...
Well, they did. It's just we just lost our minds and started trading our team. Like, I don't know. That's another video for another day.
He's found a great home in Seattle. Now,
in fairness, we have good running games right now. But anyways, continue.
Okay. Now, if Green Bay can stop that or limit it, I don't think they'll be able to stop it. But if they can limit it, that's half the victory. And then their defense is, even last year, because they were terrible in terms of giving up yardage, but they're a defense who makes a big play in the big moment, and they are clutch. We need those key interceptions. Now, you said, though, Wilson is very smart at passing the football. So it's going to be a test for him to see. But that's what Green Bay's defense thrives on, is those turnovers. I think in terms of offense, I won't get much argument here. Green Bay, definitely more explosive in terms of passing and in terms of putting up points. But Seattle's at home, which that's a loud stadium there, might disrupt the offense a bit, especially Aaron Rodgers. He likes to go with the no huddle and speed it up a bit. So there's a question there. I think it's going to be a lot closer than a lot of people are going to give it credit for, but I think Green Bay is still going to come out with victory.
I don't know. I mean, I can see that the Seahawks could win that game, but I may have made the mistake last week. I bet against the Packers. I'm going to have to go with them this week. I may have made a stupid move with them against the Bears, but I'll go with the Packers. I just maybe if they're able to limit the run of Lynch, it's gonna put a lot of pressure on Wilson. And like we said, he's a smart quarterback, but playing in an elite level team, I don't know how he's gonna handle that in his 3rd game in the NFL. So that's a lot to handle. But I mean, the benefit for maybe him is he's got Matt Flynn on the sidelines to tell him a little bit about what's going on in Aaron Rodgers' head and stuff like that. So they do have that as a bit of a benefactor, but I think Green Bay may mix it up a little bit and maybe surprise us a lot. So and maybe do a discount double check if you've seen the commercial, because that's the best thing on TV. But yeah, so let's hope this week goes a lot better for everyone. Last week was bizarro world in terms of the NFL. It seemed if you took the underdogs in all the games, you did great. If you didn't, like me, you had a bad week. So
it's fun, though. It was fun to watch. I mean, yay sports, right? That's what.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially this Jaguar Colt game, which I think is going to be a yay sports game. If you just want to enjoy good football, those teams always play each other close, and they're both not that good. So it should be a real fun game for pride's sake, and interesting for Jacksonville how they can rebound with their quarterback Blaine Gabbert injuring his ass last week.
Yeah.
So that's really it. That's us breaking it down for week 3. Of course, we'll be back next week before the season continues to move on in terms of excitement, and then before we have to come back here and break down the riveting Thursday night game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Cleveland Browns. So that's going to be it for this week. We're out. Peace.
See ya.